The Kansas City Chiefs had an up and down road throughout this entire season, losing their last game to the Bills heading into the bye week. However, they believed they were going to be able to turn it all around and still win this division despite the hot start from the Broncos. And even people like Nick Wright, national TV people, said the Chiefs had no worries against the Broncos. However, the games need to be played. The Broncos defense had Patrick Mahomes running around for his life with 45 attempts and only 19 points. And I just got to be honest, all this time they've wanted to put up explosives and be the light show and score all of these points. But with this Kansas City offense, it is clear that the light show has gone very, very dark. All right, guys, welcome to our new segment, Play of the Day. And I mean, what's happening in this situation just cannot happen, but has happened way too much for the Chiefs and this guy, Patrick Mahomes, so far this season. Look at where you are. You're down here. You're at the 20-yard line. It's, It's third down, right? And 14. So with this defense playing the way that they are, I mean, the Broncos defense is a top 3 unit. The amount of pressures that they get, right? They're number 1 in sacks all time so far, in a points per game number to, I believe, the Bears. And this offensive line, Simmons did just come back, but you kind of saw him have some struggles. He was false starting a little bit, struggling a little bit on the outside, and then the rest of this offensive line as well. But I mean, it's par for the course, right? You're playing like a great defense. As far as the receivers, this is the thing. The Chiefs, again, when we talk about the light show, what they wanted was they wanted explosive, let's say, over-the-top plays and over-the-top bombs. They were able to get those at points. And then you have Kelsey, obviously, with these underneath routes. He was able to actually get a touchdown on that at some points in the game. But for the most part, it just wasn't open. It was too much of these long shots, right, with this defensive line getting upfield where they're going to go. And they honestly didn't. A lot of teams, you see them kind of rush maybe here and then stop, try to get contained. They were just sending them. And a lot of the times as well, they didn't do it on this play, but they would also send blitzers. They were just sending a lot of pressure. And really, you see Mahomes right here even, you see him just pointing out like, hey, can you guys block somebody? Please block these guys. Make something happen because I'm tired of getting absolutely screamed at back here. But here's the thing. All of that being said, this is a 6-6 game, right? It's 6-6. This situation, third down. And what you're going to see is none of these guys are open. They're just not open. This is great defense. This is great coverage. None of them are open, right, on the first read. However, Mahomes, he tries to go up here and take it outside. Here's the problem. Defenses are now ready for that. They're not just going to fall asleep on that play, right? These are a bunch of Z's. As opposed, what you're going to see is they're going to have their eyes wide open, right? They're going to be paying attention and still staring at him, but not running at him. You know what I mean? And what that's going to create is there's a lot of discipline up here with these guys as we cue it. So here we go. You're going to see Mahomes obviously take the snap and run off, and yeah. And again, just the pressure, I mean, that you're seeing. He even right here, if you look, he really does have to kind of like hesitate. He has time, right? But like we talked about, there's nothing open here. There's nothing open here. Kelsey's getting double teamed. The running back might be open, but like this guy's on it. And the pass rush, even though he's got, I would say, like a semi-pocket, these guys are just coming up the field with so much like speed that it's ridiculous. And the D tackles are also winning the battle. However, he's got a path. He's able to step up here and then try to make a play. But again, all that being said, it's 3rd and 14. He doesn't have to do any of this stuff. Like, he doesn't have to go out there, try to throw, try to make a play, try to do anything. It's a 6-6 game, guys. A field goal here, you take a 3-point lead on a Broncos team that, this game they were doing well, but they struggle to score. That's their weakness is offense, and that's where the Chiefs thrive. However, when we run it, and again, this is what happens when it's like past 45. Like, now look, I'm not saying necessarily run, but my goodness, there's like nobody here. And despite all that nobody here, this is what he's looking at down here in the field, and it's still not open, Pat. There's nothing there, dude. And so as he keeps running out, and again, this is actually one of the rare times where this defense didn't completely track him down. Like, he does have space. He could, again, run out here, get 8 yards, throw it away. But, throwing away there, he's got so much space. Get your 8 yards, get closer, maybe try to go for it. Instead, what he does is he's out here. And again, just no pressure, all day. And he just tries to fit this in here. And this guy, it ain't there. It ain't open. And that ends up being a huge interception. And here's the second problem with this, right? Because even though you actually get, what's it called? They got a blocking. So you get, some laundry. Whoops. You get a flag out here. Boom, boom, boom. That takes them all the way back to like the 10-yard line. They don't get this return. This was actually the second time that they got an interception on this drive, right? Let's count that again. Twice now on this drive. Now, the first time, right, taken back because of, again, sorry to say this, Chiefs fans, you get laundry. It was a pick six, actually. Would have been a disaster. So this one, even, you get this flag, you get him back at the 10. But that's just 3 points that they were trying to give you, right? Like, you had a pick six. It didn't happen. We didn't even show that one. This is another decision, and that just can't happen. And it happened against the Jags where he threw a pick six. He is not playing well, and it's with the defense not being as good as they are too, it just causes a myriad of problems. And again, you look at it, right? He's, again, time. Now, this wasn't the case a lot all day, right? Like, he was getting pressured ridiculously, but in this rare case, time. But again, the reason the Broncos don't need to blitz, and they were setting a lot of blitzes, but this 3rd and 14 at the 21. They're actually conceding to you a field goal, and Mahomes, light show, wants to go out there, wants to put up numbers, and you just see it. It's like, dude, there's no way this can end up being an interception. It can't be. It can't. Look, there's nobody here. Even if there's someone there. Okay, so I'm going to just sidearm, and this is Mahomes. That's what he does. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But right now, for given what this team is and what he wants them to be, there's the ball, right? You see the football. There's the guy, and he's just like, I'm just going to let this shit rip. Sorry, Mom. I don't really care. I'm going to let it rip. Interception. Guys, let me just tell you, this ain't open. And he just forced it for no reason. As soon as he threw it, you kind of see it. Oh, no. Oh, no, what did I do? Ooh. Then you got to give him a little, oh, man. A little no, man, just not great. And that turnover, well, we're going to put that at number 1. It was the only turnover for either team all game. So for that to happen in that situation, huge. You lose by 3 points. Imagine you kick this field goal. You put more pressure on the Broncos. This is a big part of the reason they keep trying to throw the ball. They don't have a running game. They haven't addressed running back, and we'll get into all the nuances of it. But let's just keep it simple. If Mahomes right now, he was the Vegas odds leader for this award at 5-4, you can't make these type of interceptions. They can't happen, and they just happen far too often for him so far this year and for the Kansas City Chiefs. What is up, Chiefs fans and NFL fans at large? Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Check out some of our other videos on the site. We do every team every week. We have our lives as well where we pick the games and do previews, and our playlist where we do every team. We categorize them for you guys. We got the Chiefs right here, as you see, and other teams as well. So check them out. enjoy the playlist, enjoy the site. Give us a sub, give us a like. Now back to the episode. And I'm just going to be honest for the Chiefs. I mean, this really couldn't be a worse situation. So now you look, they are sitting here as the 9th seed. And with that, I mean, this weekend couldn't have gone worse, right? The Texans just barely win. They win a game against the Titans. They were actually losing when I was looking at that game. So interested to see how they win. Probably because the Titans just stink. And Davis Mills was able to pull one out. The Ravens, you have beaten the Ravens, but them sitting there, right, as the 10th seed at 5-5, that's just another body for you to have to like stay in front of. And then you got these other teams. I mean, just the fact that the Jags were able to win this head-to-head. Now you have the Chargers. They sit there. They already beat you, and you do play them again, but they are at 7-4. You've lost now to the Broncos, so now you're not going to get the division edge. This loss, what it does is it compiles up because the Jags, what they have is they have a tiebreaker over you. The Chargers, they have already beaten you. The Bills, they have already beaten you. You have to somehow climb over one of these teams and the Texans, who right now it says has a tiebreaker over you. The division pretty much over me. Look at the Broncos, 9-2. I would see that as tough to do. And as much as I want to keep giving the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt, I keep picking them to win these games. At a certain point, it's 10 games in, and they just had their bye. And I think them having their bye really changes their perspective. Like we expected them win this game, right? Not be that, but be more, let's circle the record like this. We expected them to have this record of 6-4 out there, right? Not be 5-5. And at 6-4, guess where they'd be? They'd still be behind the Jags, but at least it'd be like, all right, Jags, like, can you keep it going? The Jags have a 2-game lead on them. And they already beat them. So really, the Jags thing is getting really, really dicey. You really kind of need to, you got to beat the Chargers. And then you kind of have to beat the Broncos so that you can get the tiebreaker over the Chargers. Because the more you keep losing these games, the reason that they're behind the Texans right now, whether the Texans play or not, the Chiefs, 2-4 in the AFC. They're losing these games in their conference. So their conference record is now really bad too. They just keep losing out on all of these, on all of these tiebreaker situations. And I mean, we can't, I'm not going to say they're going to miss, but at a certain point, you have to start, what do they say? This too shall pass. But at a certain point, you got to do something to make it pass. And they aren't doing anything. And when we look at it division-wise, I mean, the whole, it's getting big, right? Like, you look, all right, so we're 2 games behind the team that's 2 games back of the division. I would say the division, probably over. That means home field, probably over for the playoffs. All right, but can we get in? Can we at least? You're probably, it's really going to come down to can you beat the Chargers and get in over the Chargers. The Chargers right now just lost to the Jags in terrible fashion. They looked awful. I didn't watch the full game, but I watched just a little bit of it. Herbert just getting screamed at. Now, the problem with the Chiefs is, can you get that pressure to where you can get to Herbert and create those plays? Because the Jags D-line, really not great. But all these other things, here's the problem with this. Here is the biggest issue right now with the Chiefs, is that because of what we've done to get here, it is now slowly becoming outside of their control. And I think this game might be, let's look at the schedule first. You come out there, play a weird game in Brazil, but you lose that game to the Chargers. The Chargers looked locked in, and they went up there. They beat you. The Eagles, Super Bowl rematch, they beat you, even though they didn't have any yards, right? 100 passing yards, I believe is what Chris Jones said. Who cares? They got the win. That's what they did. So, all right, you get a little refresher. You get to play the Giants with no Dart, and you get a Ravens team that's just, like, terrified of you. There's, like, anytime they see you, it's like, oh, my God, like, what are we going to do? We're playing the Chiefs. We can't do it. And that's big because now you have a tiebreaker over them. Huge. But then you go out. This Jacksonville loss, man. That might be the loss of the season. I mean, for them to have that lead and lose that game on the last second touchdown, huge. And again, Mahomes, this guy, we got to circle his name. Like him going out there, throwing a pick six in that game when it's a 3-point loss, and he threw the pick six on the 1 yard line. Can't happen. Now you do go out there, you beat Detroit. That's a good win. You beat up on some tomato cans and the Raiders and the Commanders. That's cool. But now you've played 2 back-to-back teams that are tough, and you lose them. And here's the problem. The bye week, man. Like, losing off of a bye is crazy. Something Andy Reid prides himself on not doing. And I got to be honest. I forgot they play this team next. They play the Colts next. I don't know who I'm picking to win that game. Like, I keep thinking the Chiefs are going to beat these teams. Now, Bills, regular season, fine. Broncos, I know it's on the road, but that's a game they normally win. So even now, the games they normally win. The Jags, bro, I can't get over this. That's a game they normally win. Chargers to start the season, that's a game they normally win. They didn't win either one of them. And so now against this Colts team, I'm supposed to believe that they're just supposed to win this game based on, I guess it's outside and it's cold, but can you stop Jonathan Taylor? We think so. Can you score on that defense? You should be able to. But every time we think that, like we thought they should score on the Bills, and they didn't. You know what I mean? So it's tough to really say. And now going forward, I mean, this is where you got to eat right here. This stretch, this Houston game. So you get a chance to overcome one of these teams in Houston. But the Houston defensive line, from what we've seen from the Chiefs offense, I just don't think they can't run the ball, and I just don't know how they're going to be able to move the ball. The Texans, number 1 defense in the league. Then you get the Chargers. Yikes, right? Then Tennessee, I mean, that's a win. Raiders, that's a win. They got to be. But the Broncos, the Chargers, the Texans, the Colts, they still have some tough games to win by themselves, right? And then the problem is that other than the Chargers, none of these games are really going to determine their wild card. They just need to win them, right? Like beating the Colts doesn't really help you in the wild card race because they're 8-2. I don't think they're going to catch the Colts record-wise. The Chargers, it does. Denver, I think it's cooked. I think like the Denver thing is chalked. I think Denver's going to win that division. So now you had all these opportunities earlier in the season to get those tiebreakers. You didn't do it. And now here you sit in a tough situation at 5-5 looking at another tough stretch of teams to try to make the playoffs. On our favorite segment, Comment of the Week, we scour our comment section and we look for the best one from the last Chiefs review or preview. And even though it's been a couple weeks, Chiefs Kingdom didn't come through with a comment. Get in there, shout us out with a comment, let us know what we think, and we will let you know how we think and shout you out if you have the number 1 comment on this post, on the next Chiefs video. The offense, man, has sputtered now back-to-back weeks. We've seen a lot of inaccurate play from Mahomes. Now, they were playing against 2 of the top passing defenses in the league. We know that the Bills were the 2nd best pass defense in the league, and the Broncos, I'm about to look it up right now and tell you guys. But I do believe, and the Broncos were 5th, right? The 5th best pass defense in the league, and again, number 1 in sacks. We talked about those numbers. Here's the issue. This is the problem. Well, it's a couple things. I think this organizationally has became a thing. Like, they drafted Worthy last round 2 years ago in the first round. Rashee Rice 3 years ago, I think, in the second round. Simmons last year in the first round as offensive tackle. They've gone complete offense. However, and I do like the Simmons pick, trying to rebuild that offensive line. However, here's the thing. All these receivers, you got to be able to get them the ball. And not only are they getting pressured, but the way they have to play, they can't get them the ball as easily. 13 rushes to 45 passes. I know Pacheco's hurt. Why in the world did they not? Okay, so you don't want to trade for someone. Pick someone up in free agency, just who's serviceable. draft someone else. Again, guys, a couple of games ago, I think against the Bills, the changeup was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think they're trying to do a little too much in the build. Like, go get someone who can run the football. Like, it doesn't have to be Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. Like, you're allowed to have someone who can get a 20-yard gain running the football occasionally. And because of that, they didn't want to run the ball, even though on 3rd and 1 it worked for a touchdown at one point. They didn't want to run the ball. And 13 rushes to 45 passes is wild. Specifically, again, you're playing the best sack team of all time. Now, they are top 4 in stopping the run as well, but a top 5 passing defense. And last game, you just saw against the Bills that not work. So, I mean, I grew up with Andy Reid. I'm an Eagles fan. I grew up with Andy Reid. This is what he does. He gets too pass happy sometimes. We've seen it, and I think there was a lot from that building, man. And I think them losing the Super Bowl, what it did, I don't think it broke them, but they altered a couple things. Coming off of the loss, I feel like it was a lot of talk about fun. F is for friends who do stuff, fun. Fun. So they wanted to throw the ball. They wanted to be exciting. They wanted the light show, man. And they defensively, I think they're just a little worse. I don't think they're markedly worse, but Bo Nix just cooked them for 300 yards. We saw what Josh Allen did. I think a lot of the points per game numbers come from the pace being slow, a shutout against the Raiders because, you start kneeling the ball. But I because they can't really get pressure on you with 4 kind of ever or create like any disturbance. Now the run defense is very good, but I just think because of that, it's tough to see them right now as a top 5 unit. Like, and I'll just name a couple. Eagles shut down the Lions at home, shut down the Packers back-to-back weeks. Denver, we've seen what they've done all season. They have the numbers, they have the stats historically. Rams, again, fierce pass rush. Let's see where the Rams are. The Rams currently. The Rams, actually, I take it back with the Rams. Their defensive backs can be a little hit or miss. But Seattle, I think Seattle flies in the gut and hit. And the Rams D-line, I would consider it way more explosive than Kansas City's. Even though they're corners, I'd consider them worse. Texans. The Texans' defense is just crazy. Now, again, will all these teams be playoff defense? I don't know. But even when you look at the Patriots, like, the Patriots don't get the pass rush, but they have explosive tendencies. They hit you a little bit harder than I feel like the Chiefs do right now. There's a physicality aspect. The Packers defense, I think, has more just ability to rise a level and play defense at a much more intense level than the Chiefs can. And I don't think it's like the Chiefs aren't trying. You know what I mean? I just think it's because of the pressure that they put on. It has to be a blitz. They don't get a pass rush right now. Chris Jones can't just consistently dominate games like he used to. The edge rushers haven't come along. The corners are really, really good and play really tight coverage. But if you have all day, the best quarterbacks, we've seen it. Herbert, Josh Allen. Again, I don't even know if Bo Nix is one of the best quarterbacks. We've seen Bo Nix cook them. Right? So what's happening is it's not just one thing. It's a little bit of passing too much when you should run. A little bit of the defense not being as good as you wanted to be. A little bit of Mahomes not being as good as he needs to be. Missing passes. Again, guys, sorry to bring this up, Chiefs fans. There was a pick 6 that got overturned for illegal contact. I was watching it condensed. I didn't see the penalty. I don't. But from what? Now, it could be Romo boosting it. Was it not illegal contact? Maybe. It was apparently not even where the ball was getting thrown, and it was tipped. And it's just like, to have a pick 6 get saved and then to go back and throw another pick can't feel good. I'm sorry. To have their best offensive plays. Now, he threw a beautiful pass to Thornton. He started hitting on the deep bombs. But to have some of his best plays be deep bombs where you just get pass interference because you're the Chiefs, that's not an extremely effective offense because you see now, all right, now you're in the red zone. Now can you do something with it? And they were able to score 19. That's not enough because their defense let up two field goal drives late, and then to have an opportunity, 3-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs don't lose that game, guys. It doesn't happen. But to have 2 straight 3-and-outs, to not be able to read the blitz, to have teams not be afraid at all of blitzing you. We've saw the Bills do it. We saw the Jags do it. Like the Chargers, like they're not scared to blitz you. They're not scared to pressure you. There's no and offensively, they're not forcing it. They're not afraid of what Mahomes on the other side and that mystic thing. And the Broncos looked across and they're like, we're just as clutch as you guys. We've been as clutch. We've been way more clutch than you this year. And it's a wild thing that's happening too. You rarely see this. I'm telling you, you rarely do with good teams, right? Like playoff caliber, veteran leadership. They normally win these games. But there is a certain point where it's tough to do it every time. And all last year, I didn't agree with it. I did it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But all last year, it was, well, what happens if they start losing all these games they're winning and they're getting lucky? I was like, man, championship medal. They've won 3 Super Bowls. They're about to go again, and they did. And even this year, I'm not writing the obit. They could go this season. They could still go on a run. They still have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. However, I mean, some of these flaws, just the fact remains the facts, and them not being able to come through with these wins, they're the 9th seed in the AFC. So I think they need to get back to running the ball. If you're going to play the slowed down pace, you can't just keep airing it out. At least you got to run the ball, give Mahomes a chance back there, just getting screamed at. And the other thing too, a lot of these teams, they're getting better at reading running quarterbacks. They play them all the time. It's not just Mahomes and Josh, you know what I mean, anymore, and Lamar, or even just Hurts. It's Bo Nix. You see him moving. So even in practice, you're watching it. Drake May, he moves out the pocket. Danny Jones, he's not as fluid with it, but he'll run. Like everyone down in the league is now really good at that redirect thing. So one of the strengths that Mahomes used to have, getting out of the pocket, making it happen, teams are just much better at containing that, and down the field, they aren't freaking out. They're going to stay with their player, stay with the wideouts, and make plays on the football. Unless he just goes off and takes off, which we saw him do early in the year, and they weren't winning in those situations, right? He took off against the Chargers, had a bunch of rushing yards. Took off against the Eagles, bunch of rushing yards. That didn't even work. So it's tough right now. And that loss, I think the only thing it did, maybe semi for certain, was mean the division was way tougher out of place. But losing all these one-score games can't be good, and it doesn't get – I mean, the Colts next. A week ago, I'd be like, yeah, they're going to be the Colts. Danny Dimes a mess. But what did I just watch? Like, the offense can't run the football. And against good – now, the Colts don't generate nearly as much pressure as the Broncos. They're not as good schematically in the back end as the Bills. But Lou Anarumo has no problem going up against Mahomes. He's the first guy to say blitz this guy, and it worked in the AFC Championship game a couple years ago. He's not going to be scared of what Mahomes can do either. And I think there's an overall sense of less fear, the defense being not quite as good, and the offense pressing too much to look for all these bombs and big plays to where now they don't have a functional offense that can just move down the field without getting bombs or penalties. That's not like that's. You need to be able to run the ball and set it up. What made them so dangerous, yes, was Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but it was also prime Kareem Hunt. Not this Kareem Hunt, but prime Kareem Hunt who could go out and explode for some big yards. So it's going to be tough. They just got to take it 1 week at a time against the Colts, see if they can fix it. But coming out of a bye, that can't be the performance you wanted to see if you still believe, which at the end of the day I still do, that the Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.